Hello and welcome to the Somerset News Network. Now, in the past, I've always helped out on farms in the village at weekends, although I work during the week. When I was a kid, it was the summer holidays. You'd go out and you'd pick potatoes and pick strawberries and help out with the haymaking. As I got older and I started work, I was still going out weekends and earning some pocket money helping the farmer. It was cash in hand. It was brilliant. Haymaking in the nice weather with cheese, pickle, with doorstep pieces of bread and cider. I think there was enough cider for everybody to go around. One of the farms I worked on used to make their own cider. So they used to come out with a barrel and tankards, and you just fill your tanker up and have a couple of pints of cider while you're working. Absolutely brilliant. It used to be part of the wages when you were working on a farm. But today, things have changed. We've got a lot more machinery on the farms. So there isn't the manual work that was needed. But they still need manual help to pick crops, to pick strawberries, pick things like spring onions, and they even need people on the potato machines. Now, the potato machine, it won't be using them this time of year, it'll be later on in the year. But the potato machine goes through, and the potatoes are picked up, it comes on a conveyor belt, and you pick the rotten ones off. The rotten potatoes, the ones that have been cut, the ones that have been damaged, so they don't go in the bag. Now, strawberry picking will start now and go on through the rest of the year. They start under large cloches that you can actually walk through, plastic greenhouses. And they need to be picked by hand. Over the last few years, the people that would normally do that work on the farms around the villages, that work has stopped. It was seasonal work, and the majority of people that did it were housewives with kids. They would work from 10 till 3 because the kids were still at school. And in the summer, even the kids would help out and work on the farm, strawberry picking and potato picking. Now, today, what do we find? We find we've got Europeans coming over. Now, the Europeans are being paid to pick crops. Now, the farmer is paying a gangmaster to run a gang of blokes or gang of ladies, whatever. Now, the farmer may not even be paying minimum wage because he's paying a unit price for a crop to be picked. He may supply accommodation to the workers. There was a report that there was 4 or 5 Romanians in a caravan on one farm to pick strawberries, and they didn't even have a room of their own. And they came over, they were paid less than minimum wage. Well, how much is the gangmaster making? Is the money the farmer is paying the gangmaster enough to pay the seasonal workers from Europe the minimum wage? I don't believe it is. Now, today, we're in crisis. The country is in lockdown. There is a national call for people to help out on farms. So I put a general question on Facebook. The people that have phoned me, that have said they can't get work. I tried to phone my farmer where I shoot. I said, do you need any help on the farm? I'm not working. We're isolated. Can I come and help? Normally the answer would be, oh yeah, I'll give you a couple hours work, Ian. No problem at all. Oh no, I got a gang of Romanians on the farm now. I'm sorry, I don't need any help. So I thought, all right. I can always help out on the farm that makes the rabbit hutches. He always wants help. So I phoned him up and said, how are you doing? He said, oh, all right. I said, how are you doing with the making of the rabbit hutches? Because he normally makes them on his own. He said, no, I got 2 Poles working here. And they're living out the back in a caravan. So that job was forego my help. So I couldn't get work. So I got no way of earning any money. So I asked on Facebook, how is anybody out there managed to get a job on the farms? And I'm still asking the question, anybody out there that has managed to get work on a farm through this call out for the nation to supply staff for the farms? They're flying them in from Romania now. You know, how crazy can you get? We got people here that want to work, and they're flying them in from Romania. How can that be cheaper than using homegrown staff? The only way it can be cheaper is because how many of these Romanians are going to be getting the national wage? Somebody ought to look into this. Now, Paul writes that his niece tried to get a job crop picking a few villages away from him. They said you had to be contained on the farm. Nicholas tells me that his daughter applied to the national agency, and they haven't even replied to her yet. And Farmer Nick, obviously a farmer himself, his 16-year-old daughter applied and was told you've got to be 18 to pick fruit and veg. Really, he says? I think I was 11 when I started picking potatoes, and we had a bag to fill. Once we'd filled the bag up to the mark, we were paid, I don't know, it was only pennies back in the 60s, but it was pocket money. You know? When I was haymaking weekends, we were paid £2 an hour. Haymaking. Well, it all helped, you know? And it was fun. It was hard work, but it was fun. But what we've done is we've broken that bond between the locals who could work and the farmer. And that bond has been broken. It was an opportunity to get that back. And we have failed. And we're still bringing in outside help from abroad. And we shouldn't need to. This nation should be able to supply enough staff to the farmers for him to do his work and supply us with food. The problem we've got is that the supermarkets control the price. So the farmer gets told what price he's going to get for his vegetables. That price determines what he can pay a gang of people to do the job. He couldn't do it on minimum wage, I don't think. If he had to do the wages for the staff and do the national insurance and everything, I don't think he could afford to run. So that's why they bring in the gangs from Romania. And how many of our tax guys are going to question it? It's all going to be done on the QT. Anyway, somebody seriously ought to look at this. Maybe one of the television programs, Panorama or Dispatch or something. You know, let's get the truth out there. You know, why can't we, people that are quite willing to work on the farms, not able to get work? Anyway, Ian, Somerset News Network, signing off. And we'll get through this virus. But we got to start being smart.